Here.
Andrea Jordan. Here. Shaquille Ali.
Here.
Nadia Flamenco.
Here.
Anthony Sujisaka.
Here. Thank you, Ms. Coveret. All right, and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. And we have the students here to do the Pledge of Allegiance for us. So if we can have our students from the science fair come on up and assist us with our Pledge of Allegiance. Please come up to the mic and make sure the mic is green, Mr. Valenti. Thank you. No, their school. Why would they? I think they already did the countywide one. Yeah.
So you can say it into the mic. Who wants to step up and say? Oh, are you part? Oh, I didn't know she was part of it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Thank you very much, students. All right, so before the approval of the agenda, we have one announcement. We do not need closed session, so we are going to strike that from the agenda. Other than that, are there any other amendments, additions, or omissions from the agenda? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve the agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, on to item 5, special presentations. 2025 JESD Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics STEM Fair. Mr. John Hopkins, STEM Fair Facilitator and Vice Principal at Fernando Rivera Intermediate School, will give a presentation on and acknowledge the participants and winners in the JESD Science Fair.
Good evening. My name is John Hopkins. I'm the vice principal at Fernando, and this year, along with Jessica Pace, we were in charge of the STEM fair. So it happened on February 1st. I think most of you were there, so it was great. Want to go to the next slide there? Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, so it was really exciting. This was the first year since COVID that we brought back like the actual boards, and it was really nice to see the boards up again. And it was a super rainy day. It was like pretty stormy out, so we were a little worried about attendance, but people really showed up. It was, yeah, I don't think this one works. Oh, interesting. Got it. Sorry. So, okay. Oh, okay. Wow. Whoops. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, as you can see, and most of you were there, the attendance was fantastic. Our community, our families really showed up, and it was really cool to see. We had a lot of great projects there, all the way from TK through 8th grade. And I want to share with you guys tonight some of the winners, and a lot of them are here to accept the award. So our first category was TK to 2nd grade, and we have Kai Relator from Daniel Webster, and her project was Do Cats Use Their Right or Left Paw More?
So we can invite her up if she wants to come speak. Do you mind giving her the stool?
Oh yeah, the stool.
Not sure if the steps will be enough.
Here we go.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, to liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. You did good. Yeah, come back. I'm gonna ask you. I think we're all wondering, do you remember, do cats use their left paw or right paw more? Do you remember? You don't remember? That's okay. You did such a good job. Everyone was really impressed by your project. So let's give her a round of applause. All right. Our next winner was for the 3rd and 4th grade category, and that was Kaylani Blanchfield and Eliana Arcila from FDR. And they're here, and they did hot air balloon. Do you guys want to share a little bit what your project was about? Yeah, go ahead.
We wanted to make this project because we wanted to learn how hot air balloons fly in the air. Some things that we learned from a hot air balloon is by heating up the air inside helps it fly up into the air.
Awesome. You guys did a really good job. All right, and then our 5th grade winner, we had a lot of 5th grade projects. This was the most popular grade level to submit projects, and our winner was Noah De Leon from George Washington. Talk about what your project was about?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Noah from George Washington Elementary School, and I will talk about my project, Osmosis. So osmosis is basically the movement of water molecules through a semi-permeable membrane, making the water molecules go to the larger concentrate, and it swells up and it becomes bigger. We use this with gummy bears, 2 types of gummy bears, organic and Haribo. So basically, Haribo did not lose its color because it was made with lots of food coloring, while the organic is made with almost no food coloring. So what I learned about this project is that I finally know what osmosis is.
Noah knows more about osmosis than me. Good job, Noah. That was awesome. All right, and then our middle school winner was Asna Madhu from Ben Franklin, and her project was about germs.
So the idea behind this project was to know if the universal rule for washing hands for up to 20 seconds helped eliminate germs, and it didn't. So washing hands for 55 seconds to a minute eliminated all the germs, and I learned that the project was really messy.
All right, so I just want to congratulate all of our winners once again. It was really cool to have it back in person, live, and with the projects, and you guys all worked really hard, and we're really proud of you. So let's give them one more round of applause.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hopkins. So before we let you all leave, we have each of our board members would like to present each of the winners with special certifications. So we'll start on my right.
Okay, I have a certification. I have 2 certificates. A certificate of first place, excellence in science, to Ileana Lindsay Arcila, along with a certificate of appreciation and a science kit. Congratulations, Ileana.
And I have a certificate of appreciation and the certificate of first place award for acknowledging your achievements in the STEM fair for hot air balloon for Kaylani Blanchfield.
This certificate of first place is awarded to Kai Relator, acknowledging your achievement in the 2025 Jefferson Elementary School District STEM Fair. Do cats use their right or left paw more? And, and also for participation in the flag ceremony.
Okay, there you go. And you get this. Handle. Okay.
This is the certificate of appreciation, and this certificate of first place is awarded to Noah Liam De Leon, George Washington Elementary.
All right, and I have a certificate of first place and a certificate for taking part in the flag ceremony to Anza Kiria Madu. All right, you all are welcome to stick around for the rest of the meeting if you like. We have a lot of, I'm sure, ravaging stuff to talk about, but that's up to you. Anyway, so we move on to item 6A, board member acknowledgements and commendations, and I will start on my right.
Okay. Well, on their way out, I just want to congratulate again all the science fair winners, participants, and organizers. Thank you, Mr. Hopkins, Ms. Pace. That was an excellent event, and I commend you all for participating and organizing it. So I also just wanted to thank everyone who organized and participated in the spelling bee last week. And this is my third year attending the spelling bee, and it was a totally different experience this year because my child was participating. And I have never felt so nervous, watching people spell. But I could really feel how challenging it was for the kids to not only remember all of their words, but perhaps more challenging was to maintain their composure. And it's a really hard thing to get up and do that. So I am really proud of everybody who participated at the schools and then at the district level, and certainly want to congratulate the winners, who I think we'll hear from at a future meeting. I want to thank Ben Franklin for hosting. I want to thank Principal Turner for sharing that he, like me, got out on a word. We should have known in the spelling bee, but as I said, it's a really difficult thing. Thank you so much, Vice Principal Hanson, for organizing everything, and just a great event. Thank you.
Yeah, the same. I was part of the spelling bee, and I couldn't control my nerves. I feel really proud of all the kids who were involved, the teachers who were helping, the staff, everybody who was there. There were many words. I cannot even say it in English, but just encouraging the students, every aspect or every assignment we do to train our brains is really amazing to see how the brain really develops and what capacity we have to learn. And we appreciate all your work and all the participants. It was really impressive.
All right, I echo my fellow board trustee sentiments. I also want to say thank you to SBA for putting on the Future Chefs. Or sorry, TRP. I did mix up the names. I was thinking TRP, but I said the wrong one. Anyway, thank you for putting on the Future Chefs competition. I got to be a judge there. I was also a judge at the spelling bee. But again, both those events were amazing examples of getting to see students, I think, in different ways, creativity and really just being vulnerable with your art, especially with cooking, which is, you're tasting food. Sometimes it doesn't taste good to one person, but it tastes good to another. So thank you to our students for being so vulnerable. Thank you to Sodexo for putting on the event. So thank you for having us and having it at our schools. No further comments. So then we move on to 6B, which is superintendent comments.
Yes, so thank you for acknowledging the spelling bee. I want to acknowledge the coordinators, Miss Fiona Hanson and Miss Jessica Pace. She's been helping out with all of the events that we have in our district as well. And all the volunteers. We had a lot of staff volunteers that came and read or were judges in the grade level competitions. So we had a lot of turnout from our staff as well as our families. So I want to thank everyone for participating in that. And then, as President Sujisaka said, we had last Thursday was the Future Chefs competition at Thomas R. Policita, and Caitlin Busey, I think is how you pronounce her last name, from Sodexo, helped coordinate that event. And it was so much fun, and we posted on social media, our district social media. So if you want to check it out, there's some videos and things on our district social media, on our Instagram and Facebook. Last week, I also toured our Jefferson Union High School District schools that all of our students feed into. I saw all 5 of their schools, and I just wanted to comment that I was really impressed with their CTE or career technical education programs that they offer. I saw sushi being made. I saw auto shop. I saw Adirondack chairs being built. So they had some really amazing, and fashion design. So I was really excited for what our students enter into high school. And so it was a great partnership. I went with the other districts that feed into the high school district, Bayshore and Brisbane. And then also, on March 12th, we had a special study session about our district budget and the outlook for the future. And so we built a website or webpage on our website that is an easy link for our budget and facilities advisory committee, where I'm going to house all of the communications, and I'm going to send out communication to all of our district families and staff tomorrow, just kind of reiterating what was said and what was shared so that we have a lot of transparent communication. And then that letter will also be posted on the webpage as well. So I just wanted to publicly share that we're going to be really open and public about this process and the next steps. So there's more to come, but there's a place where people can go and see what's happening in real time. And then also to remind everyone that spring break is April 7th through the 11th, and Friday, April 4th is a minimum day.
Thank you, Superintendent McCulloch. All right, we are at item 6C, persons wishing to address the board. This portion of the agenda is available for individuals to comment on or address the board on any issue that is under the board's jurisdiction and not on the agenda. The maximum time allowed for any speaker is usually 2 minutes. We will display the 2-minute timer on the screen. If the timer ends, I will stop you if you go over. As a reminder, the board may not discuss or comment on any items not listed on this agenda or expressed during communications public comment. We want you to know that we will hear you, and we'll ask our superintendent to follow up on your comments. Please make sure you leave your name and contact information with Ms. Covere so our administration knows how to reach you. Ms. Covere, do we have any public comment? Thank you very much. We move on to item 7A, consent agenda. So the administration recommends approval of the starred items on the rest of the agenda. If we have any items that need to be pulled, otherwise I will accept a motion.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, we move on to item 7C, resolution number 250326, Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. The administration recommends adoption of resolution number 250326, recognizing the month of March 25th or 2025 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. All right, and we will have Superintendent McCulloch read the resolution.
Yes, I would like to read the resolution so that everyone can hear what is in it, because I think it's really important to acknowledge this month. This is the board resolution recognizing March as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Whereas Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, DDAM, observed annually in March, promotes awareness and inclusion, encouraging individuals, businesses, and organizations to recognize the abilities and contributions of people with developmental disabilities. And whereas recent estimates in the United States indicate that 3% to 5%, or 7.57 million or up to 16 million people have one or more developmental disabilities. Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month is celebrated to accept the strengths of people with disabilities and their rights to full access and participation in our school environments and communities. And whereas during the 1950s and 1960s, the federal government, with the strong support and advocacy of family associations, began to develop and validate inclusive practices for children with disabilities and their families. Previously, these children were denied access to services and education and often placed in restrictive and inhumane conditions in state-run overcrowded institutions. And whereas on November 29, 1975, President Gerald Ford signed into law the Education for All Handicapped Children Act, or Public Law 94-142, Public Law 94-142 guaranteed free, appropriate public education, FAPE, in every state and locality across the country. And whereas in 1987, President Reagan proclaimed March as National Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month to make certain that people with intellectual and developmental disabilities have access to work and have the opportunity to contribute and enjoy meaningful lives that are driven by their choice. And whereas in 1990, President Bush signed the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, and reauthorized Public Law 94-142 to become the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, promoting the goals of independence and integration. And whereas the Jefferson Elementary School District acknowledges the intersectionality of disability with all other forms of discrimination and will strive to provide instruction in disability history and the disability rights movement to enhance the understanding of disability by incorporating social, cultural, historical, and legal perspectives, including the connections between disability and other identities. And whereas individuals with developmental disabilities are valued members of our community and contribute to the social, economic, and cultural fabric of our society. And whereas the recognition of Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month fosters understanding, promotes accessibility, and encourages advocacy to improve policies, programs, and opportunities that support the independence and inclusion of individuals with developmental disabilities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Jefferson Elementary School District hereby recognizes March as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month and strives to honor and include all people with disabilities and consciously promote and foster inclusive, safe, welcoming environments for all.
Thank you, Superintendent McCulloch. All right, are there any comments or questions? If not, we will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, this is a roll call vote. Ms. Coveray, we're going to keep you busy tonight.
Mr. Rashba,
Aye.
Ms. Jordan,
Aye.
Mr. Ali,
Aye.
Ms. Flamenco,
Aye.
Mr. Sujisaka.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. All right, item 7D, resolution number 250326A, National Library Week and National Librarian Day. The administration recommends adoption of resolution number 250326A, recognizing April 20th through 26th, 2025 as National Library Week and April 16th, 2025 as National Librarian Day. Vice President Jordan will read the resolution.
And this is something that's near and dear to my heart. Resolution number 250326A, National Library Week and National Librarian Day, whereas library technicians are essential members of the school community who play an important role in student learning, classroom teacher support, and organizing school events and activities. And whereas library technicians provide guidance and expose our youth not only to text, print media, and literature, but to digital resources and technology. And whereas libraries offer opportunities to explore new worlds through access to technology, multimedia content, and educational programs. And whereas in times of crisis, libraries, library technicians, and library workers play an invaluable role in supporting their communities in person and virtually. And whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain diverse programs and collections to ensure equity of access for all, and whereas the library technician's role in constantly evolving to adapt to new technology and social needs, and that the many and ongoing contributions of school librarians should be recognized and celebrated. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education establish April 20th through the 26th, 2025 as National Library Week, and that April 16th, 2025 is recognized as National Librarian Day. And each school and department are urged to participate in observances that express their appreciation.
Thank you, Vice President Jordan. All right, with that being said, are there any comments or questions? If not, I will entertain a motion. I motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, this is another roll call vote. Ms. Covere?
Mr. Rashba?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Mr. Ali?
Aye.
Ms. Flamenco?
Aye.
Mr. Sujisaka?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations to National Library Week and National Librarian Day. All right, on to item 6E or 7E, resolution number 250326B, Classified Administrative Professionals Day. The administration recommends the adoption of resolution number 250326B, recognizing April 23rd, 2025 as Classified Administrative Professionals Day. President Sujisaka will read the resolution. That's me. Thanks for giving me the long one. Whereas Jefferson Elementary School District classified administrative professionals serve preschool through 8th grade students with great distinction, and whereas the administrative support staff of the Jefferson Elementary School District are dependable and responsible members of our education system and should feel valued and appreciated. Our teachers and administrators depend on the administrative support staff members to prepare learning materials, operate office, and carry out business functions of the school and department, and whereas the administrative support staff are an outstanding group of dedicated school employees who are valuable to the success of our school system and departments, and whereas strong administrative support staff are essential to the establishment and maintenance of an inviting and encouraging learning and working environment, and whereas administrative support staff assist administrators and other staff with daily school and departmental functions to enhance the learning and working environment by efficiently and joyfully handling the multitude of responsibilities which are essential to the operation of our schools and departments, and whereas administrative support staff daily contribute to the education process by providing quality assistance in schools and department operations, and helping to establish a tone of encouragement for staff, students, and families so that our schools and departments can achieve higher learning levels of success. And whereas administrative support staff provide essential services to support modified school operations, preparation of materials, communicate to students and families so that our instructional staff can deliver instruction through at-home learning. And whereas the Board of Education values the efforts and achievements of administrative support staff members who strive to improve the educational process for each student. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby establishes April 23rd, 2025 as Classified Administrative Professionals Day across Jefferson Elementary School District, and be it further resolved that the Board of Education express appreciation and thanks to all the administrative support staff in our school system and encourages each school and department to recognize and join in celebrating these individuals on that day for the role they play in success of our school system. And no, I'm just kidding. All right, thank you. So do we have any comments, discussion, or questions? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Ms. Covere, thank
Mr.
you.
Rashba?
Aye.
Ms. Jordan?
Aye.
Mr. Ali?
Aye.
Ms. Flamenco?
Aye.
Mr. Sujisaka?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, administrative professionals. Classified administrative professionals. All right. Item 8B, 6th to 8th grade mathematics instructional materials adoption. The administration recommends adopting the following state-approved 6 through 8 mathematics instructional materials. iReady, published by Curriculum Associates. Ms. Pace will speak on this. So that one changes that one. Oh, you switched it. Okay. So yeah, you control that one. The Superintendent McCullough controls that one.
Great. Okay. Good evening. My name is Jessica Pace, and I am the Teaching and Learning Program Director. I am here this evening to seek approval for the new middle school math instructional materials. The program is titled iReady Classroom Mathematics California. Last spring, as I was reading through my emails, I came across a grant opportunity. Core Learning and Unbound Ed were looking for California school districts who would be interested in partnering to go through the process of adopting new high-quality instructional materials aligned to the new California math framework. The grant would provide free administrative coaching, intensive professional development, and implementation support over 2 years to help with the adoption process as well as the implementation of the new materials. We applied and we were selected. The journey began with us quickly establishing an adoption committee and an executive team to participate in the intensive professional development and coaching support. Over the next 5 months, the committee created our rubric criteria, evaluated instructional materials, piloted instructional materials, and collected feedback from our teachers, students, and families. Here are some of the highlights from our teacher survey. The program is laid out well, and planning was easy. The students were engaged, and the online platform was a pleasure to navigate. Teachers also wrote that the student book had room for students to take notes and had great visuals, graphic organizers, and sentence frames, as well as the learning targets were front and center. We also surveyed students. We had 371 responses. 84.9% of the students reported that they understood what they were doing in the lesson, and 77.4% of students reported that they were able to achieve the learning goal for the day. Here are some of our students' voices. I liked how the math program challenged me with new stuff that I didn't know, and it helped me expand my knowledge. Another student wrote, I liked how it explained different kinds of vocabulary very well and showed us examples of it. A third student, I liked how my classmates and I worked together to find the answers to the problems. We also have a parent's voice. Here is a quote that from our family survey. Math is one of the hardest and needs attention in middle school. If this program would boost more understanding in math, that would be very helpful and great for our students. Our next steps include continuing our partnership with Unbound Ed for implementation support, and then having some initial program training this spring, as well as ongoing training next year at our Institute days, as well as adding coaching support and lesson study opportunities. And I'd like to end by giving thanks to our committee members, and they are here on the slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pace. All right, are there any other clarifying questions? If not, we can move to discussion.
I have a clarifying question. I wanted to ask what the main advantage benefit of this new system as compared to the previous curriculum that you've seen. And I'm also curious how many schools were selected for the grant that we won.
In our cohort, we were working with 3 other school districts. Dixon and Vallejo were in our cohort locally that were working with us in Northern California for the grant. And why are we selecting new materials? Our materials are from 2018 18 based off of the 2014 mathematic framework. And since then, California has rewritten the framework in 2023. And so the new materials that we looked at are now aligned to the new mathematical framework. There's not a whole lot of changes to the new framework, but there is a lot of work around equity, for example, in the new math framework, as well as some enhancements around the mathematical practices. And to be candid, we've seen our math scores in middle school math. Our teachers are just not finding that our current program is working, nor are they using it with a lot of fidelity. So we wanted to look for a program that was more aligned with universal design for learning. So the team built a criteria to look for a lot of those elements from the UDL guidelines. And the two programs that we piloted were most aligned to UDL. And we wanted our teachers to have materials that were based on our UDL work that we're doing. And when they piloted the two programs, they found, like, one of the things they said, learning targets were front and center. So they weren't having to write all of their own learning targets. Learning targets, as you look through this, you'll see are in the teaching materials as well as the student materials. So our classroom teachers now, for many of our programs, are having to write those themselves. You'll see in the teacher materials, engagement strategies are called out so that teachers can build those into their lessons. There's sentence frames that are built into the lesson plans for teachers. And just there's other components, but these were two programs that we piloted that were these UDL strategies were really elevated. And we found that with the iReady that UDL was most pronounced. And so the teachers really felt that it went well for the pilot, and so we'd like to move forward with this. And really providing the coaching and training support we feel will really enhance the rollout of the program.
Thank you. So if we have any more questions and discussion, can I get a motion for 10 minutes?
I just have a question. 'Cause
No,
sometimes
I need a motion before we continue.
Motion to extend discussion
By 10 minutes.
by 10 minutes.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. So we'll continue down the road this way if you have any questions.
I did also have a question. You actually answered one of them, so thank you. And maybe this is a two-part question. For those that that did the survey, do we know who did, was it anonymous, or was it did we know the specific students that gave feedback?
They identified their school and their grade. I don't think we collected any other information from them other than their school and their grade.
Okay, so this maybe helps with the second part of the question, and I'll direct this towards you, Superintendent Mikulik, which is, do we maybe want to get more information in the future to be able to assist the 15% that said they did not understand what they were doing, and the 22% that say that they weren't able to achieve their learning goal for the day? Or is there a way to understand who those students were so that we can be more equitable in ensuring that they're able to be on the other end of it and say that they understood eventually, and or say that they felt like they achieved their learning goal for the day?
It could also be their understanding of the math concept and not necessarily the curriculum. And so that's something that the teacher can address in the classroom.
Thank you.
yes, I was looking through the book, and there are chapters where it start right away with something really complex instead of starting from small numbers. So I wonder if this goes together with the iMath, that is going to have different development, because I feel like it goes from starting a concept and then the example is really advanced. I don't know how is the process.
So this is approved by the state of California, and the educators, the people that are experts in math in our district, found that this program worked with what they do and what they teach. And so I don't want to question them on their professionalism and their choice of this program. I think, you know, I just want to remind the board that you know, we handle the operations. You just oversee the policies and the outcomes. So we just want to be careful with the micromanaging of the program. But you know, I trust our educators, and I trust that they have made a decision that they think would be good for our students.
And it is aligned to grade level standards. I think it's just a reminder to all of us how complex 6th, 7th, and 8th grade mathematics is.
Okay. So, excuse me, the lessons I was looking at in the book, do they have a computer element to them, or is that like homework, or how is that?
Yes, there is a digital as well as a print component. I just brought the print component for us to look at tonight.
The
All right.
digital component was shared in the link was shared in the, was that what the link was that you gave me? Or is that different?
The digital component is part of our online Clever. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. I have two just quick comments. Well, first of all, I appreciate the rigor that you actually put into math. As a former math teacher myself, one of the things that I value is we're not dumbing down the math for anyone in any level. If anything, we should be having high expectations to hold our students to high standards because we know they can succeed. So first of all, thank you for that. And then I am also very impressed with the student feedback was sought out and that it was actually done, because I think that's something as a board we've asked for in many different presentations, and it's very clear that the district is hearing what we want to hear is from the people that we serve. And so that was clearly represented here, so thank you. All right, and then this is an action item, so thank you, Ms. Pace. You may, if you would like to consider stand. Oh, oh, that's right. You're the next. Thank you. So for this item, if there's any more comments or questions, otherwise I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the 6th to 8th grade mathematics instructional materials adoption.
Second.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, on to item 8C. K2 reading, or K through second, reading difficulties risk screener adoption. The administration recommends adoption of the following state-mandated K through second reading difficulties risk screener, Amira Learning, distribution partner, Houghton, Mifflin Harcourt Company. And then that is Ms. Pace as well.
Great. So I shared with you an overview of Senate Bill 114, screening for reading difficulties within the board agenda, but let me highlight a few of those key details in my presentation. So for the 2025-2026 school year onward, schools must use an approved reading difficulty screening instrument annually to screen all students in kindergarten through grade 2 unless parents opt out in writing. Schools will also screen new kindergarten through 2nd grade students within 45 days of enrollment if they enroll after the screening has already been completed. The purpose of the screening is to ensure early identification of possible reading difficulties, and then for schools to provide early intervention with evidence-based early literacy instructional strategies and materials, which will then improve literacy outcomes for our students. On December 16th, 2024, the Reading Difficulties Risk Screener Selection Panel approved 4 screening instruments. Districts were then directed to review the screeners and have their school boards approve one of these screeners by June 30th, 2025. The Ed Services Department researched the approved screeners and took the needs of JESD into account. We need a reading screener that can also serve as a universal screener, taking the place of FastBridge assessments, and provide us the option to assess students in both English and Spanish. This brought the state-approved list down from 4 to 2 options for us to consider. Of the 2 remaining screeners, Amira stood out to us for the following reasons. The assessment can be administered to the whole class or to a small group of students in under 20 minutes. No more need for teacher release days to administer one-on-one assessments. Amira can administer the assessment in Spanish, so now any student needing testing in Spanish will have easy access. It's just a click of a button. Amira serves 3 purposes. It meets the reading screening requirement. It also serves the universal benchmark screener that can be administered 3 times a year, so it will take the place of our FastBridge assessments. And thirdly, it has a tutoring component. All students will receive 30 minutes of individualized reading tutoring weekly. For our students who identify as needing additional reading support on the reading screener, this one-on-one early intervention is just one of the ways that the classroom teacher will respond. In addition, the classroom teacher will also provide whole group and small group reading instruction and progress monitoring to support the receiving of instruction that they need to help our students to read. I have a quick 1-minute video, and you can see Amira in a minute.
Your classroom's intelligent coach. Amira provides just right reading practice for every student. Unlike other reading programs, Amira actually holds students accountable to reading every day. Students read for about 10 minutes each day, and Amira uses interventions based in the science of reading to give students real-time support in the right skill at the right time. Say watch 3 times as fast as you can. Watch, watch, watch. Students who read consistently with Amira see double the growth in their reading fluency, the kind of gains that were previously only possible with a human tutor. And like a great teaching assistant, Amira saves you time on grading assessments and provides you with valuable insights about how to support your readers. Polly was a good parent. Her only sin was a carrot. Ready to go? Let's get reading.
So in conclusion, after careful review, I am here this evening on behalf of the Ed Services Department to recommend the approval of Amira as JESD's new K-2 reading difficulties screener, universal screener, and online tutoring program beginning in the 2025-2026 school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Pace. If we have any questions, I will need a motion to extend. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
I move that we extend
By how much time?
10 minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right, and then we will start with questions. Would you like to go first, or do you? All right, we'll start with Ms. Flamenco.
I was just guessing Amira also has the dyslexia screener. Is that included in the package? Okay, good.
So I'm excited. I was quiet during the math because I know you're a former math teacher. But being an English teacher, I was really excited to see this. And you answered my question before I could ask it, which was, weren't we already screening before? So you're saying this is taking the place of what we were using before. So that was good to hear. And that's it. I don't have any questions.
The only question that I have is there going to be a cost associated with this switch?
There is a cost for this program, but for the first year, we're receiving some fundings that will cover the cost, but after that, it will be an ongoing cost. But we currently pay for the FastBridge platform. So.
And I guess the second question, and maybe I will put this to you, Ms. Peterson, is where are those funds coming from, and is the cost going to be equivalent to what we're paying for with FastBridge?
Yeah, I don't actually have those numbers. We can look that up and get that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Great presentation. I was curious why FastBridge and iReady were not approved by the state for screening.
Good question. I have some guesses, but they reviewed 10 to 12 programs, this panel, and these 4 programs were the only ones that were selected. We were all very surprised, particularly that FastBridge was not approved, because particularly when you look at FastBridge website, other states are actually using this as their dyslexia reading difficulties screener, but it was not approved. My guess, if I was going to speak professionally, is that FastBridge, their component on their response after you test for the resources is not as strong as some of these other components. We've been challenged in using their attached resources, and so that may have been one of the reasons that it was not approved, but not being on the panel, I don't know for sure.
President Sujisaka, thank you. I guess now I have one other question based on that statement, which is, are we still going to be using FastBridge for other items, or are we just moving away from FastBridge completely?
We're moving away from FastBridge because Amira can be used as our universal screener, and we wanted to have one-stop shop.
Perfect, thank you.
I just wanted to know what inspired you the most to choose Amira, or if there's one feature of it, what's the best feature?
I think there's 2 best features. One, we were listening to teachers and the release days being away from their classes and the one-on-one assessment for the universal screening 3 times a year was a challenge. They're already in K-1-2 doing so many one-on-one assessments when they're doing their diagnostic tests and just their day-to-day assessments, that to take that away from them felt like a real positive. So that would be the first reason. The second, the idea of the tutoring platform felt like a great response to our teachers' needs of being able to provide small group instruction so that teachers can still pull their small group but have this tutoring happening. So I liked both of those features.
Thank you.
Would you say this is a major increase in use of AI in our district?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Ms.
like
Scott and Ms. Baroni have been doing a lot of professional development around UDL and supporting teachers with using AI, integrating through like lesson planning, but this I think will be the first program that we're using where students are interfaced with it in this tutoring type of capacity. So I think we're excited to see how embracing that technology will work with our students.
All right, and then they took my last comment and question, so I'll just repeat by saying I appreciate the language accessibility that this provides to our students who have an alternative language. And then again, really appreciate that we're saving time for that teacher release day. That's a lot of work on those teachers, but it's also a lot of work for the students in the classroom who are now missing some instruction due to these tests. So thank you for your diligence in this, so we appreciate your time. Thank you, Ms. Pace. All right, so now we still need a motion, if we're ready for that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, we move on to item 9G, food service update. Just a reminder, there will be no action for this item. Ms. Anita King, General Manager of Food Service, will present an update on food service operation.
Thank you, Mr. Valenti. Okay, good evening. My name is Anita King, and I'm General Manager of Food Service here for the district. I've been here going on my 11th year. So this evening, I'd like to share with you give you some insight and an update and highlighting my department. So in this presentation, how do I do this? Okay. Other way. Okay, so in this presentation, we're gonna speak on our programs that we offer here, our performance, the team that we're working with as far as food service, our opportunities, and some of our student favorites and promotions, and speak on elaborate more on future chefs. And we'll conclude my part of the presentation with Stephanie Martinez, our student services manager, speaking on student advisory committee feedback about food service. Okay, so to start our programs, get this. Yeah. Okay, so the programs that we participate in here, which are federally funded in the school district, we offer our school breakfast program and our national school lunch program. And we also offer at-risk CACFP, which is now under the Department of Social Services. And through that program, we offer supper for our after-school students. And we also offer or participate in Seamless Summer. It's a feeding option that is offered to for summer school students to have food during the summer. And we offer meals to children under 18 in the community. And so this school year, well, actually in 2022 and 23, California became the first state to implement a statewide universal meals program for our school children. And that would be one complete breakfast every morning and one complete lunch. So those are all of our programs that we have been participating in. Moving on to our performance. Okay, so our performance. So these numbers here are from 2023-24, and it's based on our meals claimed for reimbursement from both federal and state reimbursements. So total meals that we claimed, this would be combined breakfast, lunch, and supper, were 775,213 meals that we claimed. And the total reimbursement for those meals would be $3,736,710. And the average number of meals served daily is 4,307. And that would be that number divided by 180 school days. Our team, the one that makes everything happen. So myself, Anita, I'm the General Manager of Food Service. We have a Senior Department Account Assistant, Yuka, and then our consultants, Caitlin, who is our full-time management consultant, and she has an assistant, Fiorella, who works with her. And at the central kitchen, where we produce the majority of our food, we employ 6 food service assistants, 2 senior food service assistants, 2.5 warehouse delivery drivers. Why we say 2.5, we have 2 that are full-time, 8-hour classified employees, and the half would be a 4-hour position. Position is shared between food service and maintenance. At our school sites, we have 1 food service assistant at each school and 1 snack bar operator at each middle school. Okay, so going into some of our opportunities, funding opportunities that we've taken advantage of. Kitchen infrastructure and training funds. We refer to it as KIT funds. We were granted these funds for various kitchen upgrades. The funds were used to purchase new equipment or to have equipment repaired or replaced. And it was used to increase the school's capacity to prepare meals served through the federal school meal program. And so for our KIT funding, for 2021, we received $47,637 in KIT funds. And for 2022, we received a large amount, $284,328. With these funds, and they have all not been expended at this point, with these funds, we were able to purchase confection ovens, food warmers, refrigerators, freezers, rice cookers, various warehousing equipment, milk coolers, meal transport carts, and mobile meal counters. And so here's just some pictures of a few things. This is a new confection oven at Fernando Rivera. The other picture is showing mobile meal counters at MP Brown. And let me move here, let me get this. New refrigerator, freezer this is Tobias, and new milk cooler. And next would be brand new confection ovens, and these were installed at Thomas Edison this past summer. Okay, and our next funding opportunity was with local food for schools. We refer to it as LFS. So these funds were given to, you had to apply for it, were awarded to school districts to strengthen the local food system. It helps support small socially disadvantaged farmers and producers through building and expanding economic opportunities. And we were able to, I'll show you some pictures here. Oh, well, first, I'll tell you how much we received, sorry. So our opportunity for the LFS funds for 23-24, we use these funds to purchase fresh, locally produced Cara oranges, strawberries, peaches, jicama, and carrots. And again, all of the produce that we received from this grant were basically from farmers within 150 to 200 miles from where we are. And I have to say, I mean, we did receive funding for and we purchased other things, but these are the things our students like the most. The oranges, strawberries, jicama, those are very popular. And just a few pictures of the actual shipment that comes in, the strawberries out of Watsonville, jicama, and going on to what our students like here. So some of our student favorites: chicken Caesar salad, that's my favorite too, chicken nuggets, cheesy spaghetti, mini cheeseburgers, turkey nachos, plant-based veggie nuggets, which is actually a very good product. It's a Morningstar product, I believe, and mozzarella pizza breadsticks. So those are the number ones. And here's a picture here of some chicken pot stickers. With some rice and broccoli. Some other things, other programs and events that we host throughout the school year. National School Breakfast Week, which we just had March 3rd through 7th. And then in May, we will be hosting School Lunch Hero Day. That's to recognize all of our food service assistants who serve and work with the kids each day in food service. And then in October, it's kind of a big one. That's National School Lunch Week. So it's this program was started by President Kennedy and in 1962 to promote the importance of a healthy school lunch in a child's life and the impact it has inside and outside of the classroom. So again, we'll host that in the week of October 13th through 17th. And just moving on, I know my superintendent, McCulick, and board member Tushi Saka, excuse me if I pronounced your name wrong, but have mentioned about, earlier talked about the Future Chef and their participation in it. And just to show a few pictures of the kids preparing their their recipes. This event is hosted every year. I want to say this is probably the 8th year. We didn't do it I think one year during COVID, but it's hosted by Sodexo, and the kids really love it. It's where elementary students get to submit recipes, and they get to come in, and it's kind of like it's a competition, so to speak, where Sodexo gathers all the items, ingredients for the recipes. And we used to have it at the Central Kitchen, but it got so popular and so many people started attending that we decided to move it to a bigger space, which is why we chose TRP. This is the second year we use TRP. And, it's a wonderful event. We have a lot of people who volunteer, and the prizes are really awesome. And I think today Caitlin announced the winners, if I'm not mistaken. And just go through a few pictures of some things. Again, this is Future Chefs from last year, the winners at TRP. And this shows some breakfast sandwiches. This is so we prepare the food, the majority of the food in the Central Kitchen, which is right here at 19 Hill Street. And this is fresh made breakfast sandwiches. And there's the illustrious Caesar salads that everybody likes. And our fresh made pasta with meat sauce. And this is at TRP, where we have it's kind of like grab and go service. I think this is probably like hamburgers or chicken sandwiches. And just one of our food service assistants working in the Central Kitchen. Just what they do in the morning. They start very early producing food, 6 a.m. So a lot of these pictures were early in the morning. And this is, I love this picture. This is our first order of the school year. It's usually really big order that we get for all our supplies and everything. And showing here our warehouse delivery drivers, how they load their trucks, get everything ready to transport to the schools. And these are our fleet of vehicles that delivers our meals each day to the schools. And lastly, the machine that makes everything happen. Actually, this packaging machine, I received this in 2017 through a grant. It was a equipment assistance grant that's offered each year. So this machine was like $110,000 or $120,000, and we secured that. It was a replacement machine, actually, for production. Okay? And that's it for me. Thank you.
We're not done yet. We're together. So thank you, Anita. We changed my slide. So again, I'm Stephanie Martinez. Sorry, my voice. Program Director of Student Services for the district. Last year, I went around to each school in our district and met with specific students, and they were my student advisory council on a focus of sense of belonging. But since I had their attention, I also opened it up for other feedback because I'm always looking to improve. They had a lot of feedback, and some of it was around food services. So this year, I was able to bring this feedback to our last wellness committee meeting, and we talked about how can we encourage student feedback, be more inclusive with student feedback, and how do we provide opportunities for student feedback around food services. And so it was a great conversation. It gave me a lot of ideas with the committee. We talked about having healthy and diverse choices in food within our parameters, right? Because there's also, our students have a lot of access to foods in our neighborhoods that we're serving school lunch. So we kind of had to reel it in sometimes with their ideas. But just talking about how we have an ongoing student feedback system as well, and I'll talk a little bit about that. I was also not as aware until I talked to the students and working with Anita about the taste testing events, because I'm not always at the sites. So we've been encouraging students to participate in those events and also messaging clearly with students and making announcements. So I've been sharing the food tasting events with principals and counselors in hopes that they make more announcements, encourage students to participate, so we have more preferred items. And also so that they can try different foods that they may not have access to otherwise. And then really being transparent with them and educating them about our food quality parameter, well, not quality, our food, there needs to be criteria. That's the word I'm looking for. Our food criteria, because preferred food items might not meet those desired food items, right? And so I think it's important, and I want to take that particular piece back to my counseling department around how do we educate our students around wellness and what really feeds in their bodies and helps them learn. But bullet number 2, we're actually going to move on surveying students. So I've created two different surveys, one for lower elementary and one for upper elementary and middle school, covering various topics like what do they eat breakfast, do they eat lunch, what do they like about our lunch, what do they not like about our lunch, what would be a food item that they would like to see offered at breakfast or lunch. Who gets to decide whether they bring home lunch or choose to eat lunch? So that's an important question. And some other questions that I ended up compiling after our wellness committee meeting. So really excited to launch that in the spring and use that as another touch point around getting student feedback and making sure their voice is heard. Now that's concluding our presentation. Thank you.
All right, can I get a motion to extend by 10 minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So thank you for your presentation. So we'll start off with comments on my left.
Mostly, I receive some feedback from teachers or parents who always ask me to look for the food. Some comments that I have heard is reduce carbs in the menu. There was one person to ask me, and that's why I'm referring to you, about the plastic we put on top. If it's safe to reheat that in the microwave. That's one thing that they mentioned to me.
Yes, so that's a microwavable, food safe, food grade material. It is not plastic, it's like a cellophane type material.
Okay, thank you.
Which is actually, it's not recyclable, I don't believe, but again, it's not a plastic.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Excuse me. The students are hungry all day long. I'm a teacher, right? So I know. So we talked about English, we talked about math, and that's going to be pointless if they're hungry and they're thinking about that. So thank you, first of all. And I have a couple questions, but my first question is, you've been here a long time, like you said. So what brings you the most joy when you're doing this kind of work?
I would have to say seeing the participation grow, going to schools, seeing that not as many kids are bringing their food from home, and that they're eating our food. And of course, just the accolades you get when you go to a school, especially if it's something that they really like. And of course, getting the feedback from my principals and from my superintendent and from my boss.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Actually, don't have any other questions.
It's nice to see you again, Ms. Hill, or Ms. King, sorry. I just want to say thank you for answering all the questions that I had in the Wellness Committee. I had a lot of questions. I kind of braced you for kind of the questions that would be coming from the board around the quality of the food, the feedback that we're getting from the students, why can't the food be prepared on site, that sort of thing. I know we also talked about consistency in how the meals were being prepared. And I know you took that feedback, and I guess not to put you on the spot here, but I guess the question would be, what is our next steps with ensuring that we are better about the consistency and the professional development for our food service staff to be able to provide that consistency moving forward?
Well, that's a process in which we've already started collaborating on. When we spoke in the Wellness Committee meeting, knowing which way, of course, the board would like us to take. But I also think that it's an important part of the process is to just educate everybody on some of the challenges that we're faced with the restrictions from the government and the state. Because we are federally funded, we have to serve meals in compliance with the way that the regulations. But also to answer your question further, train our food service assistants. That's actually part of what those KIT fund grant funds were for, is for training. Also, and then we've also probably talked about trying to upgrade some of our equipment to be more conducive to serving the type of meals that that you mentioned. Okay.
Thanks. Thank you, Ms. King.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. King, for excellent presentation. Thank you, Ms. Martinez. My question may be for you, Ms. Peterson, and that is that I believe, are going to have a big decision coming up on May 28th of deciding on a multi-year food contract with our MAID food services consultant. And I want to ask about the process of soliciting bids for that. I know there's an RFP out, but are you going to actively encourage bids from other providers? And please tell us how you're going to go about doing that.
Thank you for the question. So we do have the RFP posted on our website. There are 2 current bidders because we had a mandatory bid walk. We did advertise the RFP in the newspapers and on our website. One thing to kind of point out is that there's different types of models for serving food. And so the first model is a food service management company. That one is where they come in with their own employees and their own manager, and they handle your whole program. They do everything. And then the second one is where you have like a consulting and procurement RFP, which is what we have. And so we use the consulting for the federal and state compliance and like nutrient analysis, things like that. And then we have the procurement because we gain from the purchasing power. The other model is where you run your own program. You have the federal and state compliance expertise, and you have the nutrient analysis expertise, usually like a dietitian type person. And then you just use procurement. And so that would be that type. And then the final type is where you really don't have any kitchens, you don't have any staff, and so then you do an RFP for vended meals. And to kind of just clarify those types of RFPs so that people have a better understanding, there isn't a lot of vendors in California that do the food service consulting and procurement. And some of the ones that people hear about are really vended meals. Several of our neighbors, Burlingame, I think it's San Carlos, they do vended meals because they never had kitchens or employees. And then when the state said everybody needs to be in the National School Lunch Program, they started doing vended meals. So our RFP is really for consulting and procurement. There were 2 bidders, and we have questions and answers period right now. They've done the bid walk. We have a committee that's going to meet and review the proposals. On the proposal itself, it has a rating sheet of what the various categories are that we're going to look at. We do have a good blend on our committee because we have Anita, myself, Stephanie, and Roxanne, one of our principals, and then we also have one of our kitchen staff on the committee. So, I can kind of share it on the website. It's there, the whole details of the RFP, and we have a long timeline so that we had time to get more bidders, and we really only received those 2 people who attended, so we're going to receive likely two bidders.
Has the deadline ended?
You had to be at the mandatory bid walk in order to submit a proposal, and that was last week.
And who are the 2 bidders?
It is Sodexo and Chartwells.
Yeah, I just will say that, I have heard some disappointing feedback on the meals program, and I do not believe that is because of the food services staff and because of the program that you are leading, Ms. King. I think a lot of it has to do with the direction that we are receiving. And Sodexo, is a multinational food company based in Europe. And just noting in your presentation that, the opportunities we've gotten are trying to strengthen local food services. And if you look at our menu, there's not a lot of cultural diversity that's reflected. I think we could do better. I did speak with, as I shared, a board member in the Cupertino schools who they have been working with another vendor to do the same. It is consulting and procurement, I'm pretty sure. And that vendor does they will work with whatever you have in your kitchen and will provide those consulting services. So I realize there's a process here, but I would ask that company be encouraged to provide a bid, because I really think we could do better by our students in increasing the nutritional value, the reflecting the ethnic diversity that we have in our district, and getting meals that more students will want to eat. Thank you.
All right, can we extend the motion for 2 minutes, please? I just need to say a statement.
I move that we extend for 2 more minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Scott. So I just wanted to read a quick statement. Just again, I really appreciate that you are taking our students' feedback. Again, one of the things that we said earlier, one of the things I want to reiterate, say you're taking student feedback, which again is really much appreciated and what we stand for as a board. And then also thank you for sharing the workers and the equipment working. So that's one thing that we don't get to see. We're not here at 6 a.m. We don't get to see what your employees do and all the work that goes into it. We get to see the product, we hear the feedback, but that's all we see. So thank you for sharing that. And then don't worry, no one knows how to pronounce my name right. So, all right, and this is
I have it. Oh, me
okay.
too, actually.
Yeah, so there's no action and no direction, but yeah, well, 1 and then 2.
I want to say thank you to all of you who work hard for all the kids to have their meals at a time. And thank you for making magic during this inflation. I know products are getting really expensive and you guys are trying to do whatever you have with what you, I mean, whatever you can with what you have.
I have two quick questions. I'm listening to Trustee Rashba, and I agree with the ethnic diversity. Question is, does Sodexo tell us what the menu should be, or can we say what we want it to be, and then they advise on the nutritional value, salt content that we can use in creation of those meals?
Yes, I work closely with Sodexo, which would be Caitlin, to comprise our menu. And yes, we do our best to make it as culturally diverse as we can with the products that we have. We have what if we included different types of what was it? It was the hapa rice is one thing that we had, and then we had coming up with teriyaki rice bowls, different Latino dishes. So again, within the parameters of the products in which we're able to, access. But yes, I agree. I think especially like acknowledging maybe during Filipino Independence Day month or Independence Day, or for Cinco de Mayo, just maybe expand that part of our menu a little bit more.
Can I get a motion to extend for 10 minutes, please?
Motion to extend for 10 more minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. Your second question.
Thank you for listening to that feedback. And obviously, we're going to get the feedback from the students as well if we do adjust. And so I would love to see how that kind of plays out. And then I guess my second question is maybe to you, Ms. Peterson, around the RFP process and the fact that it is on our website. We understand that there's a process, but Trustee Rashba indicated that he would encourage the Cupertino Food Consulting Service to, go into this process with us. Is there anything that we should be doing to get more people, or is what we're doing a part of the process that other districts are probably doing similarly? Because I guess my concern is we can't force anyone to apply or to go out. And so I just want to, what is that process? Because what I'm hearing is we want more, but we're not getting the more that we want. And so is there something that we should be doing differently?
Thank you. So yeah, the process is the same as the other school districts. I think it was Burlingame just sent theirs out, and it was very similar, but they were looking for vended meals. I did receive phone calls from vendors. All the vendors know that school districts do their RFPs at this time. So I did receive phone calls, and I responded to all of them, but they were more like vended meal. And so I sent them an email. Anybody who called me, I sent them an email and said our RFP will be posted. And then I said it is posted, and then we published in the newspaper. So I'm happy to look at other ways of getting more vendors, but I think they're going to propose on the type of services that they provide. And we're in the category of running our own program with our own employees, and so vended meals is not an option for us. We cannot go that route with the current program we have.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I just want to mention too that excuse me, we talked about it being Developmental Disabilities Month, but it's also National Nutrition Month, and it made me think about in the news how they're talking about the Department of Education being closed and whatnot. So this question might be for Superintendent McCulick. Do we need to be worried about the fact that we have responsibilities federally for specialized academic instruction? And then with the food, I know now we have the state universal meals, but we have federal guidelines for the food. So has there been any talk about this among superintendents?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. At this point, we're just, we haven't seen that much change. We're just waiting for further guidance, but we haven't seen much impact yet.
Okay. And the reason why I'm asking is because before the state made that move, we argued about that on our board, and you were here, right? And we decided we prioritized giving the food to our students for free when we were asked to raise the the rate of the food. So we were already ahead of the game, but it just makes me think: do we need to be maybe putting some money aside or thinking about if we're going to have to use more of our own money because we value this program? And then also, I just want to say that I'm definitely not in favor of vended meals. I like the fact that we're able to cook here and heat up and prepare the food and not just, throw it in a convection oven from a vendor. So thank you once again.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Like right now, how much is like the expense for per child per meal around? Because I think I saw $4.99, but that's the price, or that's the budget for each meal. Like, what is the amount? I don't know
Okay,
if
I'm sorry. Could you just repeat your question, please?
Yes, like how much is the amount per child that you have in budget to spend right now for one meal, let's say?
That may be Assistant Superintendent
Or
Peterson.
can you translate?
Yeah, I can give you a partial answer. So when we do the RFP, we're looking for a fixed price per meal, and there's a fixed price for supper, for lunch, for breakfast, and it's the blended rate is about currently like $1.60 to $1.80. So that fixed price covers, the consulting, and but it doesn't cover our own employees. So I don't have an exact answer to your question. It's something that I could do like a calculation. If you want to know the cost per meal, I'd have to take all of our staff salaries and all of our operations that we're currently spending on the food service program and lump all of that together and then kind of calculate.
And the fact is, with that price, we're making magic. Right now, you go outside, what you can buy with that price. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
That maybe we need more money to get better products.
Yes, and I did hear two comments about more money, and just kind of looking back, pre-COVID, the district was contributing $100,000 to $150,000 from the general fund to the child nutrition fund, and then with all the federal and state COVID funds, the program has actually been at a surplus. A lot of one-time kit funds and infrastructure funds that you don't all spend in 1 year. So the financials have been at a surplus the last few years, and so as those funds are spent, and if we want to, add higher, better quality to our program, buy additional foods, because even with a fixed price contract, when we want to buy fresh produce with our grant funds, we can still add to the meals. And so that would be something to consider in the future when the funding is no longer available. Do we want to contribute funds from the general fund if we start operating at a deficit again?
I have, one last statement. I guess I do want to say, I really appreciate that statement around the what we're spending based on what we're getting, because I do agree that, the more money you spend, the more you probably have access to more essentially, quality wise possibly, but I love the fact that we're trying to be more local. I think that probably is also saving us on costs, and it's putting money back into our community. But I do also want to say, as a mom of two, we live in an environment where fast food is prevalent. Our schools are surrounded by fast food. A lot of our students probably want to go to Popeyes, want to go to Burger King, McDonald's, and that food may taste great to them, but nutritionally is not great. And so when they're getting something that's healthier, they're going to verbalize that doesn't taste great, right? But it doesn't mean that it actually doesn't taste great. It just means that their taste buds have been accustomed to higher salt contents, really unhealthy ingredients. I think the other thing is obviously I do try to cook as much as I can in my own household, and I have no restrictions on how much, not just salt, I put a lot of seasoning seasoning on my food because I like it spicy. I want it flavorful. I grew up in an ethnic household, and honestly, I've actually had my mom tell me, "You did not put enough salt in that food, or you only use salt. You need to be using garlic salt, and you need to be using all of this other stuff, right?" And so, because of those restrictions, and I appreciate Ms. King educating me and this board on what we can actually put in the food. I think we need to be better about talking to our children about what is good for them, because at the end of the day, if they're so used to eating out and they're so used to quick meals, they're never going to be satisfied with what is being provided to them in the classrooms.
All right, we have a minute and a half left. We'll go Trustee Rashba, then Trustee Flamenco. If we need more time, we'll motion.
I just want to say, I do appreciate that efforts are being made to improve the quality of the meals as much as possible, to involve students. I would like to see more. I would like more of a report to the board on more comprehensive student feedback. What I'm sort of left to rely on is what my kids and their friends say, of what I hear from parents, and what I hear from teachers and administrators, which is frankly some pretty negative comments. But I would like to hear more of a comprehensive view of what students really think. I'd also love some data on food waste. I hear a really large number of meals that we're reimbursed for, but how much of those meals are actually eaten, and what is left to waste? That's what I would like to see. Thank you.
And I just want to add, if we can also look for the feedback in lactose and allergies, if we just to put it in there as well. Thank you.
All right, well, I guess we're looking forward to seeing your report next year, Ms. Martinez.
Yeah, I can, hopefully with this launch of the survey, thank you for your feedback, because that gets me thinking I do have some time to add a little bit more. But yeah, I hope to give feedback before the end of this year to you, because I am due to present on my other parts of my job in May. So if we can get that student feedback back to you by that time, because it is part of my student advisory council work, I will get that part to you. And then our wellness committee has really started momentum, and we plan on doing this every year and just getting better and better. And I forgot to mention, there's other ways that students can give feedback. There's ratings that you can do online. So that was something that we brainstorm of how to teach students to rate the food, and potentially having some sites do a rate week where they eat something and they go and rate what they ate that day. So that way we could have multiple sources of feedback, because just one survey isn't going to be enough. And I think for me, it serves multiple needs, not only what they prefer and why they're eating or why they're not eating, but how do they understand what healthy habits mean for their learning, for their wellness, and for, just to have energy for the day, because there is a lot of disconnect, as you know, with kids. And so I think the education piece really stood out to me the most in my student advisory meetings, and as well as talking to the wellness committee. So I thank you for your feedback, and I hope to get that to you guys by this year, not next year.
Thank you. All right, with that being said, we move on to item 10A, Certificated Retirements 2425. The administration recommends the approval of the following retirement requests, and also requests an appropriate resolution be prepared commending those with 10 plus years of service with the district. Debbie Borda, 5th grade teacher at SBA, effective June 7th, 2025. Ms. Borda has been employed with the district since November 16th of 1988. Xenia Diesler, thank you. 2nd grade teacher at SBA, effective June 7th, 2025. Ms. Diesler has been employed with the district since October 26th of 1988. And Laura Rose, librarian, Ben Franklin, effective on June 7th, 2025. Ms. Rose has been employed with the district since August 12th of 2021. If there's any comments or questions, otherwise I will entertain a motion.
Just one comment. Congratulations. and thank you.
Comment noted. All right, any others? All right, then I will motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Congratulations, Ms. Borda, Ms. Diesler, and Ms. Rose. Oh, good, she'll be here for Librarians Week. All right, item 12A, December 2024 CSBA Board Policy Updates First Reading. Discussion and action. The board will review and revise board policies / administrative regulations / board bylaws from December 2024 CSBA Board Policy Updates as stated in a first reading. Are there any comments, questions? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. All right. Item 13, governance team members' comments, reports, and future agenda items and board meeting reflection. And I will start on my right.
Thank you. Really inspiring discussion about school meals, math, reading, very important topics, but as always, most inspired by the student presentations, and great job with the science fair and spelling bee and all of these events that our district can be really proud of. Thank you.
Echo the sentiments.
The same. Thank you to all the staff to put all together. It takes a lot of time and process. And we appreciate all what you guys do. We really do. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for everybody in our audience for being here and sticking through the whole meeting. Good luck to our county science fair participants and our spelling bee county participants. Otherwise, with that, I move to adjourn the meeting at 8:41. Oh,
Can you read in
Yeah.
memory first?
yes, I move to adjourn the meeting at 8:41 in memory of Florence Morales Reyes, son of Sonia Reyes, Personnel Commissioner. A moment of silence, please. Thank you.